Is Nikola the gamble that I need to make today that I either didn't make before or want to make again?
Life moves fast sometimes. If you don't stop, you might miss the fact that in just 10 months, your car is only worth 20% of what you paid for it.
The Isabella, originally called the Hansa 1500, proved to be Borgward's most successful model range.
Imagine buying a car with pride, only to find out 3 years later the brand folded, parts are impossible to get, and your warranty means nothing. That nightmare isn't hypothetical. It has happened before, and it's set to happen again. Today we're pulling back the curtain on 7 car brands that are silently approaching the cliff's edge. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which brands could strand you in an automotive ghost town. Number 1. Fisker Inc. Have you ever seen a car company rise from the ashes only to collapse all over again? That's the strange story of Fisker, a brand that has now burned through its second chance. After its first downfall a decade ago, the company tried again, pitching itself as a serious force in the electric market. On paper, the Ocean SUV looked like the breakthrough model that could finally give buyers a stylish and affordable alternative to Tesla. But as time went on, problems piled up, production dates slipped, sales targets slid, and investors started hearing constant warnings about money running low. Customers who had placed deposits waited with no clarity about when or if they'd receive their cars. The flashy promises turned hollow, mirroring other failed startups that spent huge amounts of cash without delivering results. And then came the end. In 2024, Fisker filed for bankruptcy again. It's no longer a rising disruptor, but a ghost brand fading fast. One so-called rival took the hype even further, claiming it would transform trucking forever, until the truth caught up. Number 2. Nikola. What happens when a company's most famous product video isn't real at all, but staged? That's exactly what happened with Nikola, a startup that once promised to change the trucking industry forever. Their promotional video showed a sleek semi-truck supposedly driving under its own power, except later it was revealed the truck was simply rolling downhill, giving viewers a false impression of working technology. That revelation set off a chain reaction. Lawsuits followed quickly, executives resigned under pressure, and confidence in the company collapsed almost overnight. Investors who believed they were backing the next big revolution suddenly found themselves staring at plummeting share prices and endless delays. Nikola's bold vision centered on futuristic hydrogen-powered trucks paired with electric drivetrains, but actual deliveries remain a trickle compared to what was promised. With credibility shattered and finances shaky, the company has slid into ghost brand territory. From this American embarrassment, our journey shifts toward China, where another flashy electric startup promised everything and delivered almost nothing. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 3. Chantu Motor. What happened to the company that promised China's first true electric supercar? That was the question surrounding Chantu Motor, a brand that grabbed headlines in 2018 with the release of the K50. The sleek sports car was supposed to showcase performance and design that could rival Tesla while representing China on the global automotive stage. Expectations were high, but enthusiasm quickly ran into reality. Despite the bold unveiling, the K50 never gained momentum with buyers. The company tried to expand into the United States, and there was even talk of US assembly plans, but nothing materialized. Showrooms that expected cars to arrive ended up with nothing but flashy brochures and unanswered promises. By then, money had dried up, investors backed away, and sales stalled almost completely. Chantu still exists on paper in China, but for all practical purposes, it has faded from sight. From this abandoned Chinese dream, attention shifts to Europe and yet another failed return. Number 4. Borgward. How can a brand once respected in the 1960s be brought back to life, only to disappear almost immediately? That's exactly what happened with Borgward. Known decades ago as a German automaker, the name was brought back in 2015 with heavy Chinese investment and lofty promises of global expansion. On the surface, the relaunch looked ambitious. Borgward pushed new SUVs to Chinese showrooms, advertising them as affordable yet premium choices. But in practice, the cars failed to stand out in an already saturated market dominated by established brands. Buyers questioned why they should pick a forgotten name when reliable alternatives were everywhere. As demand weakened, money began to run out. Customers lost confidence, hesitant to purchase vehicles from a brand few even remembered. By 2022, Borgward collapsed into bankruptcy. Owners were left with orphaned cars, no factory support, and dwindling access to spare parts. From this German ghost, attention shifts to Italy. Number 5, De Tomaso. Does the name De Tomaso instantly bring to mind the Pantera of the 1970s? That car once symbolized Italian style mixed with American power. But what has happened to the brand since then? The truth is, De Tomaso has spent more time being bought, sold, and resurrected than actually building cars. After repeated bankruptcies, investors tried again to bring it back, this time with promises of hypercars aimed at the ultra-rich. The biggest announcement was the P72, a stunning model shown off at auto shows with dramatic styling and a hefty price tag. Yet, when you look closer, very few of these cars actually exist. The brand feels more like a traveling exhibit than an automaker with steady production. Financial problems, unstable ownership, and years of silence between announcements have kept buyers wary. Today, many believe De Tomaso is more of a ghost story than a company. From this Italian phantom, we move to Asia. Number 6, Daewoo Motors. What if you drove off the lot in a brand new car, only to find out the entire brand disappeared the following year? That's exactly what happened to thousands of Daewoo owners in the early 2000s. The company went bankrupt almost overnight, despite having marketed itself as a maker of quirky, affordable cars that gave budget buyers an alternative to the big Japanese and American brands. When Daewoo collapsed, General Motors stepped in. The factories and designs didn't vanish, but the name did. Daewoo models were rebranded and sold under Chevrolet, leaving existing owners stranded with vehicles tied to a company that no longer existed. Stories quickly spread of buyers who suddenly struggled to get replacement parts or found their warranty agreements worth nothing. Daewoo serves as a textbook ghost brand. Once visible, suddenly worthless. From one year to the next, resale values sank and customer trust evaporated, and its sudden disappearance foreshadows another automaker's haunting downfall in Eastern Europe. Number 7, Zastava Automobiles. What became of the company behind the Yugo, a car often remembered as the worst ever sold in America? That automaker was Zastava, once a household name in Eastern Europe and briefly a bold exporter to the United States. During the Cold War, Zastava entered the American market by pushing the Yugo as the cheapest new car you could buy. For a few years, the low sticker price attracted drivers who wanted something brand new without breaking the bank. But the savings quickly revealed a cost. The Yugo gained a reputation for constant breakdowns, weak safety ratings, and disappointing performance. It became a global punchline, mocked by both the press and frustrated owners who struggled to keep their cars running. Despite the humiliation abroad, Zastava limped along in Serbia for years, producing basic cars until financial pressure finally broke the company in 2008. Fiat took over the fragments, leaving Zastava as yet another ghost brand. From electric startups to Cold War icons, ghost brands haunt unsuspecting buyers everywhere. Every car maker we've covered shows how fast hype can vanish once sales stop and trust breaks. These brands looked promising, but weak demand and unstable finances turned them into ghosts almost overnight. That's why it's risky to buy a car without knowing whether the company behind it is actually secure. Before you decide on any new model, research the brand's financial health and track record. A showroom can impress you today, but tomorrow it might be empty. Flashy designs and bold claims fade quickly, and only careful buyers avoid being stuck with a car nobody stands behind.